The bridegroom cometh. It's high time to wake up and go out to meet him. A warm welcome to this special video. Let's dive straight in because time is pressing. On January 8, 2026, the authors of the influential American Heritage Foundation published the following special report titled Saving America by Saving the Family, and the means they believe would achieve salvation that is supposed to last for 250 years. So let's take a close look at what they present as the universal remedy. Don't forget that nearly all the proposals from the Heritage Foundation have been adopted so far. It is extremely influential in America, and this time the family is to serve as the Trojan horse. And with that, the idea has already captured almost all hearts, because the family truly is an extremely important area of life. Let's read from the article. The task of the authors of this special report is to propose ways to remove the many obstacles blocking the formation of healthy families, to make marriages and family life easier, and to restore family to the center of American life in rhetoric and in reality. That sounds extremely good. But what will be the price that must be paid for this salvation? This extremely carefully reasoned and formulated 168-page special contribution addresses the current family situation in the USA and thus reaches the entire population. Let's read the rationale of the current assessment as summarized by ChatGPT. Introduction. Core idea of the report. The report argues that families, especially traditional marriage between one man and one woman, are the foundation of civilization and the American state. It places two central truths at the forefront. First, children have a right to the affection and protection of their biological parents. Second, the ideal environment for this is a stable household with married biological parents. Wonderful. Second, analysis of the family crisis. A. Demographic development. Marriage and birth rates have declined sharply. Many adults marry later or not at all. Cohabitation replaces traditional marriage in many cases. The fertility rate is below the level necessary for population stability. B. Causes. The report attributes the crisis to two major causes: social policy incentives that make marriage and work economically unattractive, and cultural changes since the 1960s that have devalued traditional family models. Yes, that's exactly right. Point for point. Third, social impacts. Children without stable family conditions have, on average, poorer educational outcomes, higher poverty rates, and more social problems. An aging society without sufficient birth rates endangers social security systems and economic stability. Correct. Fourth, fundamental guiding questions. The report poses the central question. What happens to a country whose citizens barely marry and have children anymore? It emphasizes that America's future will be decided by how it deals with family formation. Fifth, strategic response. Rebuilding the family. The authors propose that America should consciously choose the path of strengthening families again, rather than letting the trends continue unchecked. A social and political turnaround is necessary to make families attractive and supportive once more. So far, everything sounds perfect, and many people can identify with it. The report further proposes a broad package of fiscal, cultural, social, and legal measures aimed at strengthening marriage, promoting births, and stabilizing traditional family structures. Let's look at the individual measures with the goal of finding the danger in the Trojan horse. For the sake of time, we'll just read the headings. First, 3 major political strategic core imperatives. Stop policies from punishing family formation. Restoration of the American dream. Direct support for marriage and working families. All sounds wonderful. Second, financial incentives and tax savings measures. Newborn and marriage savings accounts. Expanded tax benefits for children and married couples. Bonus systems for larger families. Sounds great. Third, support for marriage and relationships. Marriage boot camps, that is, courses to strengthen marriage and conflict resolution. Public recognition of long-term marriages. Active countermeasures against online dating culture. Good proposals. Fourth, regulation of social factors. Restrictions for minors on social media and AI chatbots. Restriction of access to pornography. There's a lot of truth in that. Fifth, uniform day of rest. Excuse me? I think we should read this paragraph carefully. One of the most widely discussed proposals is the call for a legally established uniform day of rest, primarily Sunday, that restricts commercial activities on that day. For example, through the restoration or expansion of blue laws, regulating shop opening hours is intended to create shared time for family, recreation, faith, and community, as a synchronous day of rest to promote social cohesion, seeks to legitimize Sunday as the common day off based on constitutional precedent, McGowan versus Maryland. Critics, however, see conflicts here with religious freedom and state neutrality, since non-Christian groups, for example Jewish or Adventist Sabbath observers, would be disadvantaged if a state-fixed day of rest is Sunday. One of the most controversial demands is the establishment of a legal day of rest, in this case, Sunday, to secure regular shared family and faith time. A proposal that goes far beyond classic family policy initiatives. Anyone who knows us as High Sabbath Adventists and knows that we continue the church reform of the Advent pioneers at the beginning of Adventism in the 1840s, especially the upholding of the unchanged moral law of the Ten Commandments, should know that there is a core theme in Adventism, the third angel's message in Revelation 14, which warns against accepting the mark of the beast. Ellen White worked her fingers to the bone writing about this, and we have always done the same. That is the poison in the Trojan horse. Point 6 would be further political measures. But I think we have found the real core of the evil in the Heritage Foundation's proposal. We have often spoken of the blue laws in the USA in the 1880s, and how the Adventist pastors Waggoner and Jones were able to avert the threatening Sunday law of that time. Here is just an excerpt from one of our videos. Please watch this video, The Last Act in the Drama, again, so that you understand the context for today's special report. And yes, since the recent papal election, of the American Robert Francis Prevost, alias Pope Leo XIV, we have warned loudly about the two main actors of the last act in the drama, Trump and Leo, already in May 2025, even before Three-Eye Atlas appeared, whose appearance once again reminds us that Jesus is coming. He has long since left heaven. Just to be clear, currently, no Sunday law has been passed. There is also not yet a Sunday law proposal introduced, as was the case in 1888 or 1889. But the extremely influential Heritage Foundation has brought forward this proposal, and it is to be expected that this proposal will be adopted and implemented in the foreseeable future. By the way, this foundation also published the well-known document Project 2025, which we've frequently cited. There, too, Sunday is highlighted as the National Day of Rest. Now the question arises, why was this proposal made public on January 8, 2026? And is there protest against it yet? One would expect the whole body of Adventism to cry out loudly, along with the Seventh-day Baptists, all Jews living in America, and smaller Sabbath-keeping communities. We ourselves only learned of this Heritage Foundation proposal on January 29, when Brother John received the automatic notification of a report from the German Adventist Press Service, which in turn refers to a short protest statement from the North American Division dated January 18. Here is another very informative article from the American outlet Spectrum dated January 21, which also reestablishes the connection to Wagner and Jones and Project 2025. Please follow this link if you're interested. But now let's take a closer look at the protest text of the North American Division of the Adventist Church. Here you see the publication date, January 18. And here is the entire protest text on the official website of the powerful but unfortunately also mostly fallen North American Division. Let's read it. A proposal by a Washington, D.C.-based advocacy organization to legally recognize and enforce a uniform day of rest represents a disturbing disregard for the religious freedom of all Americans. The Heritage Foundation's document, Saving America by Saving the Family, calls for states and local municipalities to restrict commercial activities on Sunday as a way to promote spiritual engagement and provide a regular day of relaxation for American workers. Seventh-day Adventists believe all people have been created in God's image with the freedom to worship according to the dictates of their conscience. For more than 160 years, the Church has forcefully advocated against any form of Sunday law. Adventists have always understood these laws, whether at a local, state, or federal level, as attempts to compel conscience, even when they are defended on pretextual secular grounds, such as promoting the health of communities and families.